called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. Oh, the governor's being mean and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. You push back. You make sure they know it's not there.
Well, as you may or may not have heard by now, there's been an unfortunate situation that took place in Minnesota that blew everybody's mind right before the No Kings protest was set to take place in Minnesota. And then they say 2,000 different areas around the country. Now, here's the kicker with this. You're going to hear the mainstream media. They're going to come out and they're going to try to spin this. Now, in that first clip, you just heard Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, saying that, yeah, Trump is a this and a dictator, and you got to go out and you got to bully the S out of him, and you got to this, that, and the other. More of that left-wing radical extremist talk that they've been spewing out that has radicalized their base. Look at what happened with Elon and Tesla. When you have typical everyday folks that have been radicalized to the point that they're comfortable keying up people's property, destroying people's property, lighting up dealerships on fire, attacking people physically just because they have a difference of a point of view. If anything screams fascism, that does. It's the lack of tolerance that comes from the Democrat Party. And now it keeps coming back and it's hitting them in the face. It started with these rallies where conservatives were trying to have rallies and the Democrats were paying people or having senior citizens show up to these rallies just to scream, yell, and go crazy. And then they would have the left-wing mainstream media coming out saying, why don't Republicans do town halls? Why don't they do more town halls? They don't want to talk in front of their constituents. So they were baiting these people to come out. And then when they were coming out, it's already been exposed. The first 3 or 4 rows, they would have their paid actors show up way early, like hours before everybody else, stand there, get let in, and they would take up all of the initial rows so they could spew their propaganda. Well, let's keep it going. So now the Democrats going around calling for people to get out there and do more and be more hostile and be more resistant. Do you know it's come out there even paying people upwards of $12,000 a week? But in order to get that, you got to wreak havoc, is what the ad says. You have to be willing to tear stuff up. So let's get off into this individual named Vance Boelter. Now, who is Vance Boelter? Vance Boelter is the individual that in Minnesota that took the life of two Minnesota Democrat politicians. Now, when they discovered this individual's car, they found the car with a whole bunch of No Kings leaflets that were the protests against Trump. So let's get on into this. Now, in this video, not only do I have what I'm about to show you now that you see on the screen, but wait till you see the video clips. It is going to blow your mind. And watch how the Democrats try to spin it. But luckily, we're here with the facts and the truth first before they do that. So let's get into this. The FBI offers a reward of up to $50,000 for info leading to the arrest and conviction of Vance L. Boelter, suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses at their residence on June the 14th. Now, this is the individual right here. Wait till you hear who he is and who he's affiliated with. Oh, what just happened there? Oh. Okay, this is him. Now, as you can see here, this bald-headed photo right here, this is the mask. The Hollywood-style lifelike mask that he wore, as well with a police uniform. You see right there the weaponry, the tactical gear that he had on, even had a police badge. That's how he was able to gain interest to the residents. As you see in the far picture, cowboy hat, tactical gear. Law enforcement says that if he was in front of you with his gear and his badge, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between him and the actual law enforcement. But the real mind-blowing information that came out of this was who this individual was affiliated with. Now, as you see right here, Mr. Vance was appointed by Governor Tim Walz, become a business member of the Governor's Workforce Development Board. So this man, Vance Boelter, was an appointee of Tim Walz, radical Tim Walz in Minnesota. And check this out. Wait till you hear what they found in the individual's car. Now, before we get into that, I want to show you a video of one of the victims in this case. She was killed over a vote from a Democrat who worked for radical Governor Tim Walz. My God, this is very sad. The suspect, who unalive represented Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, this morning has been identified as 57-year-old Vance Boelter, according to law enforcement. Boelter was appointed by Democrat Governor Tim Walz to serve on one of his state boards. She was unalive because she voted with Republicans to not give medical went too far, to illegal immigrants. Let me see here. To not give medical to illegal immigrants. So let's check this out and listen to, to Miss Hortman, who unfortunately lost her life over this. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up. I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help the channel, helps get the information out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you already subscribed or subscribing now, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote. And we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut wrench at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Over in the Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced to vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
This one hurt. This one is a wound because of its reason. My colleagues across the aisle set this as their #1 priority.
Asked whether the move would drive a wedge between her and the rest of her caucus, her DFL colleague, Senator John Marty, quickly stepped to her defense.
As a member of the caucus, yes, sir, she clearly was fighting against that every step of the way. In negotiations, if we wanted a budget, we had to agree to that. She agreed to put one vote for us because of that.
Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
So as you see, this lady, her life was taken because she was actually doing the right thing for her constituents. Now, guess what else, what other message this sends to other Democrat politicians? The message I think it sends is that if you step out of line, this is what you may have to deal with. This may be the repercussions of your decisions to put your constituents over the Democrat left-wing agenda. Do you see how radicalized these people are? The fact that somebody's life will be taken because they put the taxpayers over illegal immigrants. And these people believe that they're going to be elected in positions of power. And you have constituents, some people that are so delusioned that they support this crap. But then they complain about the economy. They complain about prices. They complain. And then say, oh, in America, we should be able to help everybody. There's a video right now of people who went over to Egypt and were trying to join this big protest about Palestine and Gaza. When those people, when those so-called, just like what happened recently, when those so-called freedom fighters decided they were going to go over there to Egypt, to Libya, and they were going to join these big Palestine and Gaza protests and whatnot, coming from the UK, coming from France, to do what they consider to be stirring up mess, man, those people were beat. They were their passport were taken. They were detained. Some was arrested. Others were deported. Why? Because you weren't coming over there into their country with stirring up BS. And that's what this radical left-wing agenda does. It gets people so jarred up emotionally from misinformation. They've got people really believing out there about Hitler and you got folks willing to take somebody's life over not giving to criminal illegal immigrants. And this is what the Biden administration knew would happen. They would overwhelm the system with so many people that they knew that it would be almost impossible for the Trump administration to get them out. And then they put these federal judges in different places to try to do blocks and to do all of these things to just be a thorn in the president's side. And this is why one thing the Democrats did, they thought 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, which really should be nerve-wracking, because with the Soroses and these people are working as hard as they can to push their globalist agenda, where they don't want to have an American sovereign country. This is what the Soroses do. This is how they go around. That's how you destroy an empire. You have it remove its borders, relinquish its identity, and then it turns into a third world country rather than a superpower. But you're not going over to these Muslim countries dictating anything. You will lose your life. But in America, we're such a free republic that people can come over here, wave another country's flags, disrespect our American president, and could do it standing in the street corner, getting media, press, and TV time. But yet this is such a fascist country. These people are sick. But let's get into this article that goes deeper into the psychopath shooter. Were Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, and Tina Smith next? Minnesota Pow Pow's manifesto contained hit list. Minnesota suspects manifesto reveals more names on the hit list. And notice they're all Democrat names. The snake is eating itself. And they trying to say these guys are a Trump supporter. Get out of here. The media is so disingenuous. And luckily, when Elon bought X, he saved the 2024 election, because in 2020, Jack Dorsey owned Twitter, working right with the Biden administration, the DOJ and the FBI, censoring posts, and the videos and the content that's up exposing these people would have never been visible if we were still under the same ownership. So I'm grateful to Elon for that. But let's check this out. Authorities revealed that the suspect behind the unaliving of Representative Melissa Hortman left behind a disturbing manifesto and a list of potential future targets, which included several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, as reported by ABC News. Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, Tina Smith, and more on hit list. The list, which was confirmed by law enforcement, featured names such as Governor Tim Walz, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Senator Tim Smith, and Attorney General Keith Ellison. The materials were recovered from the suspect's vehicle after he fled the scene of a shootout with police. Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley confirmed during Saturday's press conference. Bruley revealed that the manifesto had the names of many lawmakers and other officials, including the two who were pow-powed on Saturday. However, he avoided going into specifics as reported by the Daily Beast. And you know I do pow-pow because YouTube will zing you for certain words. The suspect, who remains at large, fatally boom Representative Hortman and her husband Mark at their home in a Minneapolis suburb. He also targeted State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette at their residence, leaving both critically injured but alive. All 4 victims are Democrats. Police cornered the other at Hortman's residence after discovering Senator Hoffman had been pow-pow, prompting them to check on the lawmaker's colleagues. A shootout ensued between the suspect and officers, but he managed to flee on foot throughout the back of the house. So let's get this straight. This individual on foot was able to flee on foot out the back of the house and they couldn't catch him? Or is he getting a pass, maybe a little bit of help from some of his colleagues? Could that hit list that they have there really just be something there just to kind of throw people off, because the real objective was just to get that one Democrat who dissented? This lady lost her life over a vote. Described as a white male with brown hair, the suspect appeared to be impersonating a police officer, wearing a vest, carrying a taser, and displaying a badge to gain access to the victims' homes, Bruley said. No question, if they were in this room, you would assume they were a police officer. Local police, with assistance from the FBI, have launched a large-scale manhunt to track down the suspect. While no arrests have been made so far, multiple individuals have been questioned concerning the case. Wow. So there we have it. So right now, we got this individual, this psychopath that's running loose, who is taking the lives of Democrats, who's pissed off and upset because illegal immigrants aren't getting free handouts from the taxpayer citizens. If Democrat leadership ever takes possession of the United States again, I believe that they're going to run this country off a cliff so fast and so hard, there'll be no coming back from it. I believe that most of the Democrat leadership, if not all, hate this country. I believe they're Marxists, in my opinion. I believe they're psychopaths. And I believe it's up to you and I to keep spreading information, supporting one another, and defending this country to make sure that we even have a country for our children, for our grandchildren, for our great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren in the future. That's how serious this is. It's no longer just about holding up signs. These folks are out here taking people's lives. And if they do that to Democrats, what might they be willing to do to Republicans, conservatives? So, hey, this is the space we in. And led to us, I believe, all started with Barack Obama. I genuinely believe that. I believe the Democrat Party has been racist and radical the whole time. But I believe the Obama regime ushered in a level of radicalism unlike anything we ever seen. Remember Reverend Jeremiah Wright, who was Obama's pastor, who would preach to GD America. Remember that. So, hey, we got to do something about it. Just keep pushing back. But do me a solid. If you've hung in there with me this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And share a comment. Tell me what you think. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.